to a full family edition of the Friday Night Movie Podcast, live from Lily's living room in the Canary Islands. The original car occupants of the Friday night movies of our childhood. We have Mom and Dad here, Fanny and Roger. Mom and Dad are both dressed very nice for this. I think they thought this was a video podcast. Mom's wearing a fancy scarf and she did her hair. Dad shaved. He's got a very pristine purple polo shirt on, looking very good.
I'm wearing a button down for the record.
Becky's wearing a button down.
I also wear button downs to water parks.
I'm still wearing my bathing suit from the pool this morning.
And
not had time.
But this is perfectly shows everybody that's in this show.
There you go.
I don't think you're talking. Are you talking in
you
a
do have to
aim
generally
towards
lean
the
into
microphone.
It. Yes.
Lean into it
Mom
this
and Dad
much.
have to share a microphone tonight.
Mom's using her professional voiceover voice. I can tell.
I love it. Yeah. Well, Mom is. Do people know this? Because Mom is an IMDb. This is very important.
She has an IMDb credit. She's a professional.
That was my line.
She's a professional voiceover actor. If you are looking to hire someone for your next animated series,
or if you just want to enjoy a wonderful kids show, Corey Carson on Netflix, which Becky's husband played an integral role in creating. He auditioned Mom, and
she landed the role.
She had to audition in front
Candace
of...
Crane.
I failed my audition.
Yeah, Dad auditioned too, but he didn't get cast. He doesn't have the same kind.
If you can imagine that they cast me for a very large, loud crane, orange crane.
That works for me.
So check out Fanny Korman on IMDb.
It's embarrassing. I have 2 credits.
We have had a momentous couple of weeks here. We were in the South enjoying the desert beach zone. Lily, thank you for organizing.
You're very welcome.
And now we're in week 2. We're in the city. This is city life. I'm getting a greater understand why my parents faked COVID to not come back for an entire year, because it's quite lovely here. And
can't beat the weather.
And we're going to have a special episode about Mom and Dad. Everybody loves the Mom and Dad episodes. And we're going to talk about mom movies and dad movies. And our specific definition of these movies are... I think we have like a group definition, so I'm going to need Lily and Becky to help me out here.
Sure.
Okay, Beck, start.
I feel like a mom movie versus a dad movie is a movie that you enjoy more simply because you are watching it with them. The same way certain movies are appropriate for airplanes, versus in theaters. Like, depending on the experience of how and where you watch it, you will enjoy it more or less. So these are movies that are exponentially better because you are watching it with them.
And in many cases,
one of those reasons could be just because Dad is able to name off the top of his head, like he is a human IMDb, every single character actor in the movie.
Or that you have a memory of watching it with one of them. Now, this is a callback to one of our earliest episodes of the show, so far back that I actually couldn't search it, so I'm not sure anyone could ever find it. But where we talked about watching movies with Mom, but there is a whole layer to this. We're going to talk about movies that are also great with Dad. And we're going to go one by one. We're going to go in the mom column and the dad column. Is there any kind of competition involved here, or we're just going to... I don't want to... It's not a competition.
I don't want to pit them against each other, but we could.
It's funny, but the truth is that we see most of these movies with both of them.
Here's the thing. Only one of the 2 of them pees when they laugh really hard.
And it's not me anymore.
So... That was a sick burn.
Because I was
going to say
that's not what I was thinking the answer was.
It's not a competition because that parent is the one that would win.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, let's start with the all-time. And these are, and in some ways, this is a whole episode of recommendations because these are older movies. A lot of these are from the 80s through the early 2000s, with a few exceptions. And so, if you're looking for movies to watch with your kids. At inappropriately young ages in some cases, because we were probably too young for some of these movies. This is a little walk down memory lane. We got to start with really the most, I would say, the one that defines the entire genre of movies to watch with Mom, and that is Cheaper by the Dozen.
I'm already laughing.
The one with Steve Martin, the original installment of the second one's excellent too. We saw with Mom in the theater, I believe at the Montreal Forum.
Mm-hmm. Me, you, and Mom. It was the three of us.
I was not there.
You could hear Mom laughing at the new Forum from the old Forum.
And Shai and I kept looking at each other and being like, "This movie's terrible, but we are having the best time."
But I love that movie. I've seen it 100 times since.
But the only reason you love it is because the first time you saw it with Mom.
I don't know. Well, anyways, Mom. It's just I can't disassociate it from Mom. Mom, what do you have to say about the movie?
It's a very funny movie. But you know that it wasn't the first Cheaper by the Dozen I saw, because I saw the original one.
There's an original one?
Niven and
that was.
Was it Lucille Ball?
She was.
Maybe.
No, I think it's Clifton Webb.
Clifton, that's the original.
Steve Martin is a remake, Shai.
And then
I
we
saw
just saw
every
the Zach
version of
Braff
it. It's like
remake.
Magnificent Seven, where they have many remakes. It's the same kind of thing, except that they're all funny, but the one with Steve Martin is probably the funniest. Is it Steve Martin?
Yeah, it is Steve Martin.
All right, and then
Bonnie Hunt.
Dad, I feel like you could really pick. You got just make sure Dad is pointed towards the microphone a little bit when he's talking. With Dad, you could really pick two broad ranges of movies here, and they are Kevin Costner movies and cowboy movies. And I would say the most distilled
Those
version
categories
of
are almost the
this-
exact same category.
well, because there's also Kevin Costner sports movies. Let's be clear.
Oh, and those are amazing. How did you leave those out?
But there is one that I would say is like one of the ultimate movies to watch with Dad, and that is Open Range.
You know what that movie has?
Character
development.
So much character. Dad, tell us about it.
You stole my one line. That was it. Now I can leave the podcast.
Tell us
yes,
about
character
it.
development. So I'm a big observer of character development inside any movie, and Open Range I think is one of the great ones because of the way it reveals the characters' backstories. You have Kevin Costner playing the gunslinger who's trying to run away from his past. You have Duval trying to run away from the origin of his name and his prior marriage that ended in a disaster. And bit by bit, conversation by conversation, you get to understand these characters and how it leads to the ultimate gunfight.
And it is an old-fashioned Western that way, right?
I have to
Classic. Builds up to the...
I have to say, I love that movie. So I love watching that movie with your
Yeah,
dad,
but it
too.
doesn't make it. No one would ever say, "Oh, what should we watch with Mom tonight?" Open Range.
No,
we would say,
I'm
"What
actually
should we?"
agreeing with you.
what should
I
we
would watch
watch?
that movie
Mom,
with
we
your
know
mom.
every single movie on this list you'll like because you like every single movie.
Which is one of Mom's greatest qualities. But if I were to rent out like a theater, like a fancy theater for Dad, Open Range would be among the top movies I would want, like a print of or whatever they call it that you get in your
print.
fancy film world to watch. Open Range, maybe Magnificent Seven, one of
I
those.
don't even know if they
So you
still
know,
do
when I was a
those.
kid, there was a movie theater in Puerto Rico called Cinerama, and it was the like semicircular screen, so you could see. It was the biggest screen available in those days, and they would have movie marathons. So it would be like all Elvis movies or all westerns or all. You could go all day long and just sit in the movie theater watching movies. I could see them doing that for Rogers,
With
westerns
Dad's
and
over.
Kevin. Yeah.
Of favorites. Okay, the next movie on our list is a Mom movie, and this is not one I've ever made it through, so I need one of my sisters to take the lead on it.
So
Your daughters are gonna love this movie.
What's
But they have to watch it with me.
here's or with each other, because it's really a story about sisters. So it's not one that I initially connect to Mom. I always think of Lily first, but there is one moment in this movie that Mom has recreated throughout my teenage years, which is there's a moment where the sisters can hear a whirling in the kitchen. He's like, which sisters? And they know what time it is. It's time for midnight margaritas. And on more than one occasion in high school, I would come home and I'd be like, Mom, what's going on? She's like, it's Margarita Monday. It's Margarita Tuesday. It's Margarita Wednesday. And you'd just be whipping up some margaritas and we'd hang out and drink. And I mean, not in like I guess I have to be careful how I tell that story. In like a reasonable French-Canadian sort of way, you know.
I have zero recollection of that, but thank you.
But that's the okay. Well,
So
other
wait, you didn't say the name of the movie, though.
Practical Magic.
Oh, you did you?
Didn't I?
I don't think
No,
so.
but
Oh,
everybody was
sorry.
supposed to guess.
Sorry,
The
Practical.
listeners are
We're
supposed
talking
to
about
guess.
Practical Magic.
I love that
That's an
movie.
iconic scene in Practical Magic when they put the lime in the coconut and they drink it all up. and they drink
And it's just not
margaritas.
just them; it's them and their
Sandra Bullock,
aunts.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman, star of the
It's so good.
AMC movie theater commercial. Stockard Channing, Diane Weiss.
Isn't
Sandra
it just
Bullock.
So good as the
amazing? We
aunts.
said,
Sandra Bullock.
and oh, you know why it's a mom movie? Because she loves
Aidan Quinn?
Aiden Quinn. She loves Aiden Quinn.
Now,
That's
who
why it's a
doesn't?
mom
In fact,
movie.
isn't it?
And what's his name?
Mark Fairstein,
Mark Furstein, who I met once.
Evan Rachel Wood.
That's right.
And the guy that played
Yeah,
the
it's got
zombie,
a crazy good cast.
that guy then went on.
That
to,
was on who's on
He's on
ER.
ER. No one can pronounce his name.
What's his name?
unfortunately.
He's like from
Bosnian.
Hungary or Czech
I think he's Bosnian.
Bosnian.
He's great.
He's
yeah.
very good. He was so scary in that movie.
It's a great movie.
That's
Still
not
holds
what's scary is.
That movie is timeless. You can watch it anytime and it's still good.
It is very good.
That's a big statement. I might have to try to watch it. Okay. Now,
Oh, but you have to
Next
watch it
up.
with me.
dad movie. All right. The next one is a dad movie. I saw this one with Dad today. Did anyone else see this one with Dad?
I've never even
This
heard
is
of
one
it.
I'm gonna
I've
heard of
never
this
heard
I'm
of
gonna
it.
which
extend the
makes
power of
me
this movie.
confirm that it's a dad movie.
I'm going
Yes.
to extend the power of this movie.
Wait, can I guess where it's from?
What?
Is it Australian?
No, I think it's English.
It
British.
seems like it would be
It's
Inspector would be
I
British.
want to say this. The power of watching this movie with Dad was so strong. It's called Inspector Calls. That Allie talks about the movie all the time. She always says to me, she goes,
What?
"What was that movie we watched with your dad?" And I know which one she's talking about. How many movies have people watched with our family? But that's the one Allie's always talking about. She loved that one. It's called Inspector Calls. It stars the guy who played Remus Lupin.
David Thewlis, I can never pronounce
Oh
his
yeah,
name.
yeah, that guy. He played Lupin in Harry Potter. Anyways, it's a really cool mystery. That's all you need to know. It takes place over the course of one night, I think.
Yes.
and that's
An
all.
inspector calls or
And Inspector
and
Calls.
Inspector Calls.
Inspector
Lily,
Calls.
Lily.
Don't
Three
confuse.
movies with
Lily,
that name.
Con permiso,
Inspector
Lily. Un
investigates
inspector llama.
the
Because-
wealthy Burling family and their dinner guests following the suicide of a young woman. Isn't that the plot of Knives Out?
That's like a
This
typical
movie is
Agatha
so much
Christie.
better than Knives
This
Out.
is
It's
a
not even
TV
funny.
movie from
No, what's-
2015.
okay, hold up.
This
Yeah.
seems
This
like
is
Knives Out ripped this off.
No.
Classic
It's not like Knives Out.
stage play that has been done many times on stage and
many times.
and in film.
Yes.
So you can see various versions of it. However, this latest
50 versions on
this latest
IMDb.
incarnate, which only testifies to its incredible
But there's one in
timelessness.
2018 and one 2015. Which one did?
The
are
one
you-
with-
one with David Thewlis,
The one with
15.
Remus Lupin in it.
Sophie Rundle.
2015.
The,
Oh, that's right.
the cast is absolutely out of sight. I think the father of the family is actually one of the
Ken
dwarfs.
Stott.
Yes, Ken Stott. He's one of.
apart.
He's from Lord of the Rings. He played one of the dwarfs in.
Would
Yeah.
you say
Lord
that
of the
it's
Rings.
an Agatha Christie type of thing or a Poirot
No,
type of thing where the
no,
inspector
it's-
shows
It's
up?
a little bit.
No, I
I mean
think-
that's a good
I
that's a
think
good way to
it's-
frame it. But
It's slower and it's really peeling the onion. And I can't say anything more about the plot because I don't want to spoil it, or maybe I should spoil it.
no, don't spoil it. It's a very
over
cool.
the course of the evening, the depth of the mystery reveals itself and involves in some way
Well,
every.
it's really cool.
Everyone. So,
I highly recommend it. And yeah, I guess it does have a Knives Out type vibe, but I like this movie a lot more than Knives Out.
without the comedy.
Now on the same what would you say?
It's kind of like
It's-
Knives
it's-
Out without the laughs.
It's Knives Out without the laughs, but also without the show offness of Knives Out.
Right.
It's like it's very low key, but it's really, again, Allie talks about this movie all the time. Allie liked Knives Out also. Okay,
I have a question. Do you think she loves it as much because she watched it with Daddy?
yes, for sure. I think that was part
So I'm
of the
so
whole
into-
thing that made it great.
into
Was
this.
the whole experience,
And he
because she
can name all the
refers to the
actors.
movie as
Yes.
as
Very
that
important.
movie we watched with your dad. And again,
Okay.
how many movies have we watched together as a family? But that's the one she remembers. That is the one we watched with dad.
Right.
Okay. Now this is a good lead-in because this actor was in a number of these other movies that are great to watch with mom, and I think Lily should introduce this
Since
one.
Lily's
She
the
doesn't really care about
bigot.
those
But this
movies.
makes it funnier.
I appreciate that people like watching these movies and they like
You have to-
sharing them with you, which is the Harry Potter franchise.
including the whole universe, including the Fantastical
Fantastical-
Beasts,
That
and where to
one
find them.
and where to find them. Is that really the title of that movie?
I
Yeah.
think so.
That's
But-
insane.
No, but then there's a second one.
Yeah, it's called The Fantastical Beasts: Where to Find Them, The Crimes of Dumbledore.
No, you guys are messing with me.
No, it's The
There's
Crimes of
two.
Grindelwald.
What I
The Secrets of
the
Dumbledore.
secrets of the crimes.
Each
of
one adds a
Grindelwald.
sentence.
God. And any wizard movie. So I will say that
encyclopedic knowledge of all of the characters in this.
That's true.
I don't know
Mom's
them
like-
as well as my
I'm
granddaughters.
So I'm not interested in watching these movies, but I am interested in watching them and asking questions. And Mom's ability to ask her what she had for breakfast, no clue.
but like who's the president of the
Ministry of
Muggles?
Magic.
Is that a thing?
The Ministry of Magic.
I was like, I can't think of anything. You'd be a president of the Wizards. Who's the president of the Wizards?
No, it's the Ministry of Magic.
Exactly. That you know.
She knows all about it.
And but any wizard movie. So I appreciate though that with Mom you can really watch anything that that is magic related. Like Josh Crew recommended that show, The Magicians.
Whoa. I
That's a
couldn't.
I love that
5
show.
episodes.
But like Mom was, I was like, oh, dude, I'll try to watch that with Josh. Mom's like, oh, I've seen all 17 seasons. Come and sit with me. I love it. And she just, that's like murdery teenage wizards. She's into it. Children wizards, which also seem very murdery because everyone dies in Harry Potter. She's into it. And then even Lord of the Rings, they've got wizards and she's into it.
Lord of the Rings is
love.
awesome. Don't
Yeah.
mess around with that.
I'm not messing around with Lord of the Rings. I'm just saying any wizards you can watch with
The
Mom.
Witcher. Mom's a
No,
huge fan
and
of
The
that.
Witcher.
But you guys like The
That's
Witcher.
that's the
turned me on to
wizardry
The
I can
Witcher.
get behind.
But does Mom understand The Witcher the way Becky understands The Witcher?
No one understands the way
No one
Becky.
understands
She's
it the
secretly
way
in
I
their
do.
writer's room. I don't know. I absolutely don't understand that
I
show,
still
but I
don't
love
understand
it.
that it's
Signed an
different
NDA, I
timelines.
can't talk
Look,
about
the
it.
house had feet, and it was the house from earlier in the season.
There you
Lily and I figured it out.
go. Timelines converge.
Okay.
I
So-
missed something.
Now, next we have. Oh, this is a movie I've been trying to get my kids to watch with me, and I can't convince them. Have you? I don't know if you guys have even ever seen it. Have you ever seen?
Look in the background
Silverado?
with Dad.
Of course
Dad.
they have. They saw it with
Lawrence
us.
Kasdan masterpiece.
You probably had it
Okay.
on with Sean.
Oh,
and I.
God.
Let
guys,
me
they
tee
saw
up
it
a
with
movie
us.
for you. Let
They
me.
definitely saw
We
Silverado
might have to
with
do
us.
this.
Oh, okay.
Let me tee up a
We
movie
may have to
for
watch
you
it tonight.
with this cast. Okay, Kevin Kline. Kevin Costner in maybe his first or second role.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
young unknown
Yeah.
actor in it. Okay,
Jeff
Goldblum.
What?
Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy, Danny Glover,
That's it, Danny Glover. I couldn't remember.
I'll watch
Talking
it.
about
And Michael
suturing
Gambon.
in film.
The bad guy is Michael Gambon.
Michael Gambon is in it too.
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
evil overlord.
oh,
I
of,
think that Silverado rivals Open Range as the
And
Western.
Jeff Fahey also, right? Who's also plays a villain a lot.
he's
Are you
great.
guys
He's a
sure?
great. He's a
Okay.
great.
Here's the thing about suturing. You know, more
And-
suturing
and-
that like
and
makes
Scott
you takes
Glenn.
you out. Scott Glenn, right? There's somebody that is not believable in a western. It's Jeff Goldblum.
No, but you'll see what the role that they
the
give
part
him.
that they
the
cast.
part that they
the
give him.
casting
He
is
plays
brilliant.
Slick.
He plays
Slick
like
the
the
gambler.
Jewish
Jewish
piano
cowboy?
player.
No, it's like in
No.
At the
Buckaroo
saloon?
Banzai.
Yeah, the Jewish gambler.
Do you know in Buckaroo
He's
Banzai the
Jewish.
role he plays in Buckaroo Banzai?
But the whole
it's
movie
like
is
that.
Same
like
role.
that. He's like, yeah, he's great in that. Jeff Goldblum is awesome.
I don't doubt
So-
his phenomenal
Okay,
talent.
so
it would take me out
so
of it.
No, it
I
doesn't.
won't take
define,
it out.
It does. It
let's
doesn't.
define the super great movies, okay? Super great westerns. They must start off with profiling each of the individual characters.
That's right.
As some unique super.
Each one has a
man of-
skill.
Yes, has a skill. And actually, it goes back. There's another movie that predates these. I think it probably goes back to the '60s called The Professionals.
Oh, that
with
movie's amazing.
Lee
I
Marvin,
watched that.
Woody Strode, Rob Ryan.
You lost your daughters.
so-
they are totally tuned
I gotta
out.
tell you, guys, I
So,
watched that
Silverado-
movie on my own
Going
without
down a
Dad.
deep dive
Silverado
onto
begins
the
in that
Silverado
incredible way,
IMDb.
but each of the profiles in this movie are very, very different. So you really get the sense of a team coming together, which is very, very diverse.
Guys, I'm telling you that I would watch. I've seen Silverado multiple times, and I would watch it again tonight.
And Shai got me the
excellent.
box set.
I got you the box.
Yes,
set. I got you
he's the
soundtrack.
sheriff. He's the
Look,
sheriff.
it's hard to
of the
buy
town.
gifts for Dad, so there was a couple
Puppet
years where it was
sheriff.
just Silverado related gifts.
Yeah.
I would just go right into the
Box
next
set,
one of Dad's
playing
because they
cards,
really have to go together.
The album.
true. This
Okay.
one I definitely have seen with
This
Dad,
one
but
I've
not
seen
I've
for
seen the
sure.
original.
So the
with Dad.
Magnificent Seven. So I'm going to say something bold here. Magnificent Seven, which is the other great Dad. I mean, if
Wow.
I had to pick two of the greatest Dad movies of all time,
the Magnificent
would be the Magnificent Seven and Silverado. I think the Magnificent Seven, which is a remake of the Seven
Seven
Samurai, which is an incredible movie in its own right. As a kid, though, because Silverado was made with more of a modern pace to it,
Yeah.
because Magnificent Seven is pretty slow. Silverado's made with like the pace of a great '80s movie. I always loved Silverado more, but it's that same kind of assembling the team, you know. Yeah.
Well, you gotta give the nod as the greatest Western ever made to The Magnificent Seven, because it's a remake of one of the greatest movies ever made, which is The Seven Samurai, which, by the way, in terms of the time it takes to assemble the team, it's 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So
Seven Samurai is very long.
And of course, it was then The Magnificent Seven has been copied in different formats.
Like Battle Beyond the Stars, which I
Exactly.
also watched.
Do you know we saw all
George
three in
Papard?
the same night? Didn't you remember before the kids were born?
I was
or
gonna say,
maybe
you
Shai
obviously
was a
didn't have
baby?
children when you did that.
No, and it
It was
wasn't
also
like
one channel then.
and it's not even like DVR. Some channel on television
Played all
put
three.
on
Couldn't go to the bathroom.
The Magnificent Seven,
After we watched.
and then Seven Samurai, and the next thing that came on was this space movie that was the same story, and the two of us are going like,
And
what the
who
heck?
directed The Battle Beyond the Stars?
No.
This will blow your mind.
Steven Spielberg.
Roger Corman.
Ooh.
Not this
real
Ro-
B
Best of the
here.
B movie.
Not
I
this
have to
Roger
tell
Corman,
you-
of
Roger
course. The
Corman
very
I
with
have
a
to
C.
tell you that space movie was such a B- movie.
But it was a
terrible.
blast to see.
But it
I
was so
find
much fun to see
amazing
all
on the
three.
poster of the Magnificent Seven, Yul Brynner's name is so much more prominent than
Because he was
Steve
very
McQueen's.
famous.
Right.
He was
because
very
said-
famous
he had
already.
just
The
come
Mirish
off of
Company presents Yul Brynner.
Well, he had just
In
come
the
off
Magnificent
of,
Seven, and then way down below is Steve McQueen's
well,
name.
Because he was a beginner at
at
that time.
At this point in his career, he had just come off of the
King
King
and
and I. And Steve McQueen was a relatively young actor at the time. Also introducing an actor who went on for an incredibly super career called Horst Buchholz.
Buchholz.
That was his first movie.
Are you reading the same IMDb?
No, I
No,
just
but
noticed.
he's
just
just
knows
going to
And
Dad knows.
Your father's
Okay.
not reading.
Because
Not
I'm
James
reading
Coburn.
it because
any
I'm
great
reading
western.
Introduced
Right, James
Actor.
Coburn is the
Yeah.
knife guy.
Yes.
Knifey.
not-
I don't know.
he's not
And
on the
Robert
poster.
Vaughn and
I'll tell you
Charles
who's on the
Bronson was
poster.
still young in his
Okay.
career.
Eli Wallach, Steve McQueen's name is above, so it's Yul Brynner, then Eli Wallach and Steve McQueen. Then you have Charles Bronson, Robert
Right.
Vaughn, and you have introducing Horst
Horst
Buchholz.
Buchholz, great German actor.
Right, and Robert
And-
Vaughn
and-
went on to become the man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, and the other
And I met
the other
Eli Wallach.
critical
Yes, you did, Becky.
part of any great movie is you got to have an incredible music score. And the music score of
brilliant.
The Magnificent Seven was written by the great composer Elmer Bernstein. So you can just listen to the score as you could listen to Star Wars, let's say.
Okay, he's on a roll, guys.
All right, now Mom has another movie. Beck, you want to introduce this one? And it's important you read it word for word.
This is one of the best movies to watch with Mom. And it has to be this title, no other version of the movie.
And this is
The
a whole new
version of the movie
mom category,
title.
which is rom-com.
Rom-com.
This brings us into a new
It's
mom
a new
category.
category. So, Mom, and this is specifically the title of the film is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Ways I Hate About You.
Because I don't
That's
think
what
Mom
Mom-
knows, which I'm not sure which
I
movie.
know
but
which one is which.
Truthfully, for a very long time, she referred to it as 10 Ways to Lose a Guy.
That's
10
the real way that
Ten-
she...
That's really
But
what
which
she
one
would
are we
say. I
talking
just
about?
remember
Are we
being
mixing
up
up
in...
the
I
Ledger
love
or
both.
Matthew
Talking about the
McConaughey?
Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey. The Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson one, we'd be up in the country, and she would
Just
just
like
say, let's have a girls' night, and let's watch 10 ways to lose a guy.
And
I
have
rented
margaritas.
it from the K-Legs. Let's watch 10 ways to
From the
lose a
gas
For
guy.
those
station.
not following,
And
the
the other
Calyx was
one
a
was,
gas station video store
near
that had
the country
excellent
house.
pies.
And, you know,
Fire movies.
Fireworks.
Fireworks.
And an,
Crazy
Movie
fireworks.
rentals.
And
and an interesting selection of rental videos on
you go.
VHS.
It's
And-
probably because of the French translation that it was
But
called Had a 10 Ways to
I
Lose a Guy.
appreciate that you've put both, you've melded those two, because the one with Heath Ledger was, I watched with you how many times? Did you ever count how many
I
times
think
I watched it with
that's
you?
a Becky movie, and I probably made you watch it
I love that
550
movie.
times and no less.
I'm
It
sure
was
I
the
watched
only
it
movie
by
I
myself.
watched in the 8th grade.
All right, we did two for Dad. Let's do a second one. This is one where when I saw it in the theater, I knew we needed to watch it with Mom, and we watched it with her.
This is kind of a crossover. I
Well-
feel like this hits both categories. 'Cause I feel
Mom
like
and Dad? We
yeah, I
did
feel
not
like,
watch this movie.
No, but I feel like
Dad
Dad
doesn't
loves
like
a Guy
Not a
Ritchie.
Dad movie. We can never watch.
This is not a movie.
But doesn't
to watch.
Dad love Guy
Not
Ritchie?
the Guy Ritchie
I'm talking about
one,
Snatched.
No.
Snatched, the one with
Not Snatched
With-
with
Not
Snatched
Snatched.
with
with,
Brad Pitt.
Snatched.
Oh my
Snatched
God,
with
I'm-
Goldie Hawn.
I'm
You're
the
Fanya
Fanya right now.
Goldie
I'm
Hawn
the
and
mom.
Amy Schumer. Dad would never watch that.
Oh.
Never
Never
watch it.
Never.
Well, that has the greatest scene of all time in a movie.
Which one? There's many.
when they get to the hotel And the concierge has a heavy accent, and they're drinking a welcome drink, and he goes, here, and they take the drink, and he goes, welcome, and they spit it out.
Anyway,
Not
first of all,
dissimilarly, not dissimilarly, when I was traveling with Mom in Thailand, no, not in Thailand, we were in Laos, and we arrive at a hotel, and a lovely gentleman offers us a beautiful cocktail. It's this kind of indigo bluish color, and we're drinking it, and Mom goes, oh, this is delicious. What is this made from? And the gentleman goes, oh, this is cocktail is made from butterfly pea, which is a flower, but we didn't know that. And the two of us, Mom did the spit take, and she's like, what am I drinking? It's like butterfly pea.
That's amazing.
Literally, you gotta
Anyways,
live
I feel
the
like
Goldie Hawn.
many
A
years
Goldie
from now,
Hawn
5 years
slapstick
ago.
situation, sign Mom up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A what situation?
Goldie Hawn slapstick.
I love Goldie Hawn.
Wait,
So
to
sorry,
be clear-
is the Brad
to be
Pitt
clear,
movie
I
called
just-
Snatched?
Overboard.
I just-
You forgot
Snatched.
Overboard.
I just want to
Not to be
again,
confused with Snatched.
and again, not unlike the plot to Snatch, it's not that I was traveling with Mom in Asia. It's that Mom came on my honeymoon.
Amazing. Is that the plot? No, they get kidnapped in Snatched.
Oh, but
Did they complain about it when we got there?
Your honeymoon was 6 months long. I mean,
This was
somebody
this
had to
was like
come
week
and
3
spend
of
time
it.
with you.
By the way, that's how Becky gets you to pay for her honeymoon. If she invites you on a trip, that's how.
You
Okay, let's
weren't
jump around a
complaining
bit.
then when you got the butterfly
It's
pea
great.
drink.
I loved those 2 weeks.
Now-
I have to say though, I think that if you're going to talk about Snatched, you got to talk about Overboard.
Well, that's
The
a whole
Goldie Hawn
category of
version.
slapstick romance type movies that is
But that
Just
movie
your
Goldie Hawn movies.
is your
Perfect Goldie Hawn
Private
movie.
Benjamin.
Yeah,
Wait, that's
I mean,
another
any
Hawn
Goldie
movie.
Hawn movie.
Wildcats. I love Wildcats.
I don't
True
remember
Beverly
that.
Hills.
That's not
That's
Goldie
Shelley
Hawn.
Long.
That is
Shelley
not
Long.
Goldie Hawn. That's you got
Alright.
the wrong blonde there.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, let's jump around a little bit because I want to get to some like pretty classic ones here with Dad. One of them being,
can we serve this up as a doubleheader?
sure,
Next one you're doing.
yeah, the next. So notwithstanding Mel Gibson's anti-Semitism, still one of the greatest.
Just need to preface it with we know he's an anti-Semite.
Yeah, right. We know
but-
he's horrible.
Lethal
But
Weapon.
Lethal Weapon is probably the greatest
It was
character-driven.
before anyone knew.
Yeah, the greatest character-driven action franchise ever, starting with that first one, which is amazing. But what really crystallizes it as a dad movie is that this movie has one of these like amazing, again, 80s style conventions because it works within the framework of what that movie, like how that movie works and the character. The fact that they catch the villain and at the end of the movie, Martin Riggs just offers to fight Mr. Joshua instead of take him in.
Right.
And they just have a
Gary
to-the-death
Busey.
fight on the front lawn.
Right.
And I just remember Dad has quoted that scene so many times. You want to shout at the title? Come on.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Want to shout
Come
at the title?
on. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
And it's the
How many
be-
times have I said that to you when we were having an argument? Come on, come
No,
on, come on.
not when we're
come on.
having an argument. When we're just having fun. That's an experience.
Which actually just, not to interject, but to interject, it made me think of another category which we could do is that perfect mom-dad hybrid crossover movie. For example, another Mel Gibson movie, Maverick. Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Oh, Maverick was a lot of fun.
That's a great
I mean, I would have to say,
crossover
With
movie.
James
all Mel
Garner.
Gibson pre-anti-Semitic,
Jodie Foster.
almost
Yeah, James-
all Mel Gibson pre-anti-Semitic rant is a crossover mom and dad hit.
Pretty
because we
much.
watched every single one of those movies.
Yeah,
The
'cause
same
it
thing with
had
Bruce Willis.
the action for dad and the hunkiness for mom, and it was all there.
Yeah. And the acting was great.
You could say the same thing for the Die Hard movies. I love those. Bruce Willis.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Die Hard. I remember Mom and Dad. I remember you all are too young to remember. The commercials for Die Hard were a big deal on television.
Definitely don't remember.
He can jump a building in a single bound, and they'd play the Christmas music, and they have the explosions. And I remember Mom and Dad telling me they went to see it, and telling me that they like sweat through their shirts. It was so. It
That
was so
first
intense.
movie was so
What-
intense.
Yeah,
Still- it
here's
still
here's
is.
a
It
great
still holds up.
crossover. At the time, I think we were still doing TGIF TV night, and the policeman in Die Hard is Reginald. I can't remember.
Reginald Johnson.
Reginald
who was
Johnson.
the
And he
dad
was
on
Family
Yeah,
Matters.
Family Matters.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I always thought that was so cool to see him out of
we're-
character.
That well, it could have been. I mean,
He was kind of a character.
almost
character.
the same guy.
Right.
True.
They're-
True. Like in Family Matters, his job could have been to be the cop in
Well,
the
he
car.
was a cop in Family Matters, so.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
But Die Hard, there's not much to say about Die Hard other than the greatest action movie.
And
Great action
I think
movie
it was
of all
time. Yeah, greatest
early in Alan
Greatest action movie of all
Rickman's
time.
career. Another great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's a great time.
Greatest movie villain,
Yeah,
greatest
it has it
everyman
all. It's
hero.
literally, it's perfect.
It's a
Greatest-
Christmas movie. I'm just
greatest-
saying. Oh no, I'm sorry. We
Yeah.
reclaimed
Hero
it as a Hanukkah
tagline.
movie. We'll
It's
take
a Hanukkah movie.
We reclaimed it as a Hanukkah. People have this debate. I don't know if you follow this on the internet as to whether or not a Christmas movie. So I've reclaimed it as a Hanukkah movie because it's a underdog story,
Right.
and there's a lot of fire.
Right.
So it's
Right.
Some people get fried.
We'll just
pretty
take a
pretty
break.
Yeah,
quick.
people get all they get very hutchy-muchy
Broken
about
glass.
it. Don't call it a Christmas movie. Call it a Christmas movie.
Okay.
We're like, great, belongs to
now,
us now.
this one really gets in our heart, and that is the 1990 live-action Ninja Turtles movie,
Oh.
which I associate with Mom because she took us not knowing she was about to go in the hospital for a long time. She took us. She insisted on taking us. We went to the Cineplex Odeon Theater
In Laval.
And
in
I'm
Laval, like
sure
somewhere in the middle
at
of nowhere.
5 years old, I was definitely old enough
That
to
was
see
the
it.
one and only time I think we ever went to that movie.
It was LaSalle.
Laval.
LaSalle.
LaSalle, yeah.
LaSalle.
Yeah.
And but the moment that makes it a mom movie, you know what the moment that makes it a mom movie? So there's a moment where the woman who plays April O'Neil and Elias Koteas, who plays Casey Jones, are arguing when they're in the safe house, and they finish arguing and they slam the doors, and Mom goes, "It's like moonlighting," and then the turtle on screen goes, "It's like moonlighting."
That is wild. That I don't remember.
I'll never forget that. Mom goes, "It's just like moonlight," and then the turtle said it on screen. And that's a great segue from Die Hard because Bruce Willis was in Moonlight.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
love that show.
That's what elevates Ninja Turtles to a mom movie. Okay. Now, Predator, I think, gets a mention for Dad just because of the number of muscles. Have you guys seen Prey, by the way?
No.
No.
The new installment in the Predator franchise.
We can
on
watch
Hulu
that. We should watch
is
that.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Excellent.
Is it
Oh,
terrifying?
No, it's not. It's
The
not.
poor
scary
Shy
at
has
all.
come over to my house and has just had to rewatch movie he's already seen
It's
because he's
not
seen so
scary.
much more
But
than me.
It's
I've
not
seen
scary.
Babysitter Part 3 now, part 2 3 times, and there's
Yeah,
no
the
problem.
Babysitter,
That's not
I
a
can
problem
keep
to
watching.
rewatch. I could rewatch it again tonight.
Yeah,
So,
Prey.
but we watched Prey, Allie and I, and I got to tell you, Mom and Dad have been known to go to the movie theater, see a movie, sneak into at least one other movie.
We do a double feature.
At least.
Double feature.
Double
They
feature, I
love
call it.
telling you about it.
It's
They
the senior
love
di-
it.
it's
They'll
the
call
senior
us
discount.
between movies and be like, "We're sneaking into another movie."
They're
So
like,
cute.
we saw,
They're
you know,
so cute.
I call it a double feature.
yeah. We saw.
It's stealing though. Technically,
No, Daddy
You
would
can't
go and
be
buy
stealing.
one senior ticket, and then we'd go in the movie theater.
you guys are so.
but it was
funny.
often it was like we went to
movie
see
the poor cinema industry. It's like flailing. Mom and Dad are single-handedly
Listen,
taking down
if
movie
they don't
theaters.
have enough staff to go and double check that the seniors aren't sneaking in. It's on them
it's-
for
it's
treating
harder now
seniors like
with
they're
no-
invisible. It's on them.
Right.
Tell them.
These two, the Bonnie and Clyde of movie theaters.
But we
over
did
here.
buy a big popcorn and a soda that
Yeah.
cost more than the
It's
ticket.
like a
so-
mortgage.
And mom, Mom and Dad, because Mom and Dad will go see whatever the big movie is that week, and then they'll sneak into the last 2/3 of Transformers.
And they'd be like, movie didn't make any sense. Couldn't stand it.
Didn't know what was going
But I
on.
have a question. If Predator was released today, Dad, today, would
We
you?
have a funny aside when you're done.
Okay, would you be interested in going to see Predator today?
Absolutely. Those, the Arnold
All muscle
performances.
But you wouldn't be
classic.
like a bit scared because I feel like I remember being little and how
Yeah, I was-
scared
no,
that
I'd
I
probably
I
was.
be
found
scared.
Predator
That-
terrifying.
The sound the Predator makes when those claws come up,
Like I just mean in your
The snarl.
older age.
Like, are you more afraid of movies now?
No.
So
or just the fact that Arnold is in it.
afraid.
would
No,
have
I'm
been-
equally terrified.
Predator.
Okay.
So Predator Prey was so enjoyable that Alice. We talked about double feature. My wife would never do one. Immediately, we sat through and we watched the first Predator.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay, what's your
So-
funny aside?
My funniest side, Becky can say just about
Giggling
seeing a
over
movie
here.
halfway through.
Years ago, Shy and I were working at Sleepaway Camp. We were working at the same camp together when we were working at Sprout, and we took our day off from camp together. And the tradition was we'd get a room at a hotel
With good air conditioning.
good air conditioning,
Shy
and we
Korman
would spend
day
the
off.
whole day just watching movies. So we hop over to the movie theater. We're so excited. The new Terminator has just come
Terminator
out.
3.
Terminator 3. We run in. We're like, okay, we're only like 3 minutes late. This is going to be fine. We get in there and we're like, whoa, so much action. Okay, we don't really know what's going on or who the characters are or why they're driving places. But this movie is starting off with a bang and it's wild. And we're like, okay, I think I sort of vaguely understand. They're getting to a bunker. What's going on? Okay. And the credits go on. We're like, what's happening?
And it turned out we had walked into the last 45 minutes or so of the movie. We went
20
into the wrong theater. We saw almost none of them.
So like we'd seen just enough to not want to start it from the beginning,
That's very
but
funny.
we didn't understand anything that had happened.
Okay, now let's just talk about things that aren't movies, but we threw these in as wild cards. For Mom, we have It's All in a Basket.
What's in all
That
of
was
this?
Mom
That's
had
the
a
name of the
basket
company.
business.
That's her basket business, but that's not a
What is
movie.
it?
Because
No, it's just
no,
like
but going
wild
to
card
hold on,
thing.
having a sick day and getting to go with Mom to
While she made her
Arlette's
ba-
house
while she made
they made
baskets?
baskets.
Oh, that
Pretty
was a
great.
thing.
I was your
Yeah.
helper.
I don't know why it's
Yes,
on
you
this
were.
list, though.
Just because
like-
Beck and I
just-
thought it would be fun
We
to.
just thought
Oh, she had 2 Cocker Spaniels. They were so mean. I'll never forget that.
Maybe one of her daughters is
No,
listening.
but don't you remember?
I
remember
hope
Mom
so.
finished
And
the
she's
basket,
probably
and
like,
I'd be
yeah,
like,
those
"Wait a
Cocker
minute.
Spaniels were mean.
Why can't I get that Mad
Why-
magazine that you're giving to the kid in the hospital?
Why can't I have those chocolate covered pretzels?
Or
What's
those
going on?
Lily,
I probably did.
I mean,
have them.
do you know how much Ferrero
There was
Rocher?
so many ribbons. I just
So
remember
much
all
ribbon.
the
We
ribbons.
had ribbon in our house for decades. I think until you
So
left Montreal, we
many
just had a
ribbons.
basement full of ribbon.
We still have
have
plastic
ribbon.
to wrap the
Mom
Mom
baskets
loves.
with.
Mom
And those
loves
ones that were kind of almost like
wrapping.
made out of metal foil with the holes. It was like a long
Yeah, yeah,
strip.
yeah.
Those were pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
So
the ones I
much
mean.
So, Mom, do you care to comment on It's All in a
It's all in
Basket?
the basket.
I didn't know that was a movie you wanted to watch with me.
No, no, it was a
Flattered.
core memory.
It's
It
just
was
like a
being
core
It's
there
a
with
core
her.
memory bringing. I don't remember bringing you, but I remember Shy. But I remember bringing Becky because she was the little one.
That was your first entrepreneurial
Yes.
foray.
And that lasted a couple of years, I
Yes.
think, and then we finally
Until
decided to part ways.
Until you ran out of baskets.
No, it was more complicated than that. But
Till the basket weaving business dried up.
But I will tell you
bottom
this.
fell out.
I'll just tell you this. There is a core memory of Mom maybe showing us inappropriate movies or movies that weren't right for
Dirty
the young.
Dancing, no, that wasn't it.
No, Grease.
Dirty Dancing.
We were too
Inappropriate.
little, I think, to see
But
Grease.
everyone's too little when they see Grease.
There's like
it goes
half
over
the
your
This
jokes
is a
head.
you don't
musical. It goes right over
understand.
your head.
Although I
And
will
then-
say, my kids, we watched it with them, and we, we're very educational with the kids, so we pause it, and they're like, "Enough already! We know consent. It's important.
Just let us
Stop.
listen to the songs.
Just let us hear the songs. We get it, Mom and Dad. He shouldn't be trying to kiss her that way. We totally get it. We won't let someone do that to us."
and then
Does that remind you of something?
And then
90210.
Mom, clearly a product of the 60s, shows us Love Story, which is the saddest movie you've ever seen in your life.
So you're already homesick with the flu, and then she makes you watch Love
like the
Story.
most
You're like, I'd
depressing
rather
The
story
one with the
ever.
guys rolling around on the beach and the.
No, that's
No,
From
this
Here
is-
to Eternity.
No, Love Story is a beautiful.
1940.
It's a beautiful
movie.
story,
And
like
she was
in
so-
college,
but she never
maybe.
told
It's
us
actually
the
a
part-
novel.
She never told us the part where the main character
gets
dies, really
cancer
young.
and dies and like
It's
leaves her
really-
husband.
So
Love means never
sad.
having to say you're sorry. It's so sad. But we were so little. Like, why would we want to watch a movie about two like people that weren't meant to be that end up together? One of them dies.
You know what though? Mom took me to see E.T.
Oh,
40 years ago.
Okay, wait, hold on.
And my rewatch.
Should
oh,
we
wait,
call
this is
your
it.
therapist?
Watched it
No.
again
No,
without
Mom,
me.
you
Should
get-
we Zoom in your therapist so we
We're
can
gonna
really
bill
make
you
the
for
most
that.
of this?
And I told you, show. I'm giving you in person. You are
Thank
a
you.
genius. 40
Thank
years
you.
later for E.T. I saw it again. It's a masterpiece. Probably
That's a movie to
traumatized
watch
my
with me.
children.
Right?
That's a great movie.
That
You
would
took me
be a
to see
great
it in
movie
the
to watch
theater.
with me. Right.
Can
But
we get into Dad's wild cards?
yeah. So Dad's
Excuse me
got
a
a
second.
few
Before
wild
the
cards.
wild card, the movies that you didn't put in here, but that I did take you to see, maybe
Black
Daddy and I
Cauldron.
would. All
Fantasia.
the Star Wars movies.
Oh, I remember when
But
she
that
took us to
took
see.
us there too. That's you
Right.
guys share stuff.
But I remember when you took us to see Fantasia, and I remember sitting there being
Joe.
like, "This is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen." I was like, "When is the talking?"
duped. We've
Like, when
been
is
duped.
the
the
Mom's
talking?
trying to
Show
make us go to the
Tchaikovsky-
symphony, and this is how she tricked
Were you
us.
scared
between
when
the
brooms
scenes, don't they-
multiplied?
First of all, it's
I wasn't.
terrifying.
I was scared
I only know
and different.
Dad.
And different. The hippos
The
is
hippos
what
are
I was
scary.
not
the
here
only
was
for.
talking
hysterical.
isn't there like a conductor that talks to the audience in between?
Yes,
the
yes,
scenes?
he
Like,
is the
hello, we're
conductor.
going to see the brooms.
No,
This is
I don't think the brooms is what
Tchaikovsky,
scared me. The music is what scared me. The whole thing was terrible.
water.
No, the
Can't stop the
Stravinsky
water.
But how could
one
you
about the
take
beginning
children
of the
to
world.
see that and tell them they're going to see like a cartoon?
It was
No
a
one
cartoon.
talks.
Well, what's interesting
It was
also is
so
that
bad.
Mickey
It
with
was
the-
terrible.
The Mickey with the
Yeah, the
wizard
hat
brooms.
is, but it's like an iconic
the
symbol of
Wizard's
Disney.
Apprentice or whatever.
Yeah, the Sorcerer's Apprentice with the brooms.
Yeah, they
multiplying.
don't tell kids that no one talks in that movie. It's just music the whole time.
I don't know. I saw it as a kid and I didn't.
But
Yeah,
in those
because
days-
you had talkies then. They just started coming out with movies where people talked. You went to see the moving pictures, and then they had this, and you were freaking out.
You know what was really disappointing as
That no
someone
one
who
talks
loves
in the movies?
movies
It's
are the
just-
movies that I loved and I took you to see or that I rented for you to see at home and you would go like, ugh.
But
Well,
that's what
we
my
get our
kids do now, too,
comeuppance.
sometimes.
I showed Ari Homeward Bound, and he's like, "This is it? It's just a bunch of animals running around." And I I loved that movie as a kid.
To the credit of my kids, they are tough on us. We'll watch a classic with them, and we'll be like, buy, rent, or meh, and they'll be like, rent, or rent, maybe a buy.
But then 40 years from now, they might appreciate it, like
Well,
E.T.
the way we say it is
Maybe.
similar to what you guys did. Is we're just trying to raise them right, so they have the cultural context, and they watch enough TV where they get to pick anyway. So you know. All right, so let's go with some of Dad's wild cards here. Who wants to start with Dad's wild cards? Not the basket
Oh,
business.
sorry, I have to turn my.
Okay, so number one is skee ball.
Not is that a movie?
No, skee ball.
just
not,
skee
not
ball
rollerball,
as
Lily.
the-
Skee ball, as in Dad
like
taking
as-
you
I
to
thought it was a
Dad
movie.
going
the
to
arcade
going to the arcade and
in
then
Wildwood.
You watch Dad play skee ball, and you're like, "Why isn't this in the Olympics?"
Yeah, when
This is
Dad-
a serious
where
sport.
Dad-
exactly you'd be
the
like
wooden
sweating.
balls,
The wooden
old
balls,
wooden balls,
yeah.
and Dad would bounce it off the side.
I
and
can only,
boom,
where I
stick it
can
in
only get the
50.
ball in the like dead hole. That doesn't get you any points.
I mean, I'm pretty good,
And
but not as
Dad
good as
is always like 100 points, 100 points, 100 points.
Dad doing his famous hook shot.
Oh,
That
Dad's
was
hook shot.
Dad's hook shot.
Historical context. So, growing up in Brooklyn, there was a small amusement park. You guys went to it, I think, as kids. Buddies.
Buddies.
Oh,
Buddies.
buddy.
Later,
Okay.
yeah, buddies.
Okay. And it was really very, very small rides. They had an arcade, and the big game in the arcade was skee ball, which you could play for 10 cents 100 years ago. And so I perfected my technique as a very, very young tyke playing in Brooklyn. And so I wanted to carry that over and teach you the great skills of my childhood, which you seem to have ignored with the exception of Shy.
Oh, I've learned it. I
I'm
love it. We
great
play
at
with the kids.
skee
Like,
ball.
Allie-
Great
and
at-
also,
I
Great
feel
at
redeemed.
skee ball.
I married someone who loves skee ball, and Allie and I always play skee
Did you
ball together.
did you play it at LBI?
We played
this
it at
past
LBI.
week?
Was that a
Whenever there's a
requirement?
skee ball option. What?
Was that a requirement for marriage? Loving skee ball?
I know, but it's just, it worked.
It's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
bonus.
We
Okay.
I won a lot of tickets. I won so many. I hit the jackpot at that visit on one of the things, and I won like 4,000 tickets.
And then what did you get with those?
I bought presents for all the kids. The little
Oh,
rubber
those
ducks.
are
Oh, that's where the rubber ducks
Dog?
came from.
No, the dog was her. My daughter got a stuffed dog that looks like a taxidermy dog. So every year we go to this toy store in LBI called Haymarket, and my in-laws buy the kids presents. And every year, my elder daughter takes a very long time to decide. This year, we were graced with a very, very fast decision. Only it was like a stuffed dog that looked like a taxidermy dog from Melissa and Doug.
Oh my god.
The size of a real Labrador.
I feel like Melissa and Doug are trolling you.
And so we
With
had just
that
been
kind of
watching
toy.
Scrubs. And so it was
The
like
dog!
Rowdy. It was like Rowdy, the stuffed dog always. The best part is that my elder daughter named it Dudley after my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, my nephew, and niece's dead
Dog.
Labrador. I promise you, if they even listen to the show, they're not getting 40 minutes into an episode, so they're never going to hear this. The funniest thing, though, my sister-in-law Meredith did, and I saw it on our Ring camera, which makes it even funnier, is that
She left it on the doorstep.
even funnier. Knowing that Allie and my daughter were coming back from the trip, she went to the house the day that they were arriving and just like sat him waiting inside.
What does your actual dog think of Rowdy?
He walked by him. But then my
He's like,
brother-in-law
what
Jeff,
are you,
they had the
what are you
dog
new
for a few
here?
days.
Who is
So
this?
they had the
Stuffed
dog
dog.
for a few days.
The real dog or the stuffed
the
dog?
stuffed
Or
dog.
both dogs?
No, he had the
just the stuffed
taxidermy dog.
I don't think they're taking care of the real dog.
No, the real dog is with the very nice lady who dogs it.
This is like an
and he started
Amelie when
taking-
she takes pictures of the gnome
And he's taking pictures
everywhere.
all over his house with the stuffed dog doing all sorts of activities and sending them to us. It's very funny.
It's really funny.
So, okay. So that's, and then the last one I got to say is just any kind of handball, punch ball,
Yeah. Any
ball against the wall game
Sport.
with a pink Spalding
Spalding.
ball.
Spalding.
He played Hit the Penny with
racquetball.
your
Right.
youngest.
Hit the penny.
Racquetball,
Who gets hit with the penny in
handball,
that?
I
stickball.
feel
You hear this
stickball,
rolling, Emma?
baseball. So I feel like
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm handing down the wisdom to the next generation and
Good.
positively
stickball?
influencing the growth of your children by playing some games with your youngest daughter. And that included boxes. We used to play 5 boxes, but with her we played 4 boxes because it's a little bit less challenging. And we played Hit the Penny, a great classic. So in time, I
All
think
the
I'll teach.
old-timey games.
I'll teach your children
good.
the great
Good for
You
when
need to learn those things.
New York's Spalding.
it's good to
All
say
right.
when the
Well-
apocalypse comes and there's no more electronics or entertainment.
All you have
They'll
is
They're
they'll
gonna
have
need
some
it.
games.
Just
All right,
remember
what
to
do you
grab
need?
the pink ball.
Let's close out on a couple of mom movies. One of them being just Hugh Jackman. We just called
a
that one
category.
movie.
All Hugh Jackman.
Anything huge.
And I gotta
she
tell
likes.
you, I'm down with that.
Me too.
Yeah.
That man can't do wrong.
Mom?
You know, if there's
Even
a Hugh
his
Jack-
musicals. I mean,
Well,
Mom
especially
loves
his
his
musical.
musicals.
He's a musical.
yeah.
Song
He's
and dance.
amazing.
And then the
Yeah.
next category is the people who soil themselves
Yeah, right.
in movies.
And that
includes throwing up,
throwing up.
pooping their pants in the street.
Yeah. And the
Um,
one that we chose to symbolize that Mom actually chose. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, Bridesmaids.
Yeah, Bridesmaids.
No, I,
We
I
had-
see you chose it, but I would choose that too.
We
You
had
did
Spy.
choose it. You were with
Mom,
us
you
when we
chose
wrote it down.
went
You
to
made
the-
you made it actually
You went to the
change
list
something
and you
else
said,
we had.
I don't want to do Spy. I want to do Bridesmaids.
Right.
When in Spy, when she kills the guy and then she throws up, Mom,
I
forgot
like
about
Mom
that.
had to change her underwear. So did I. Like that was we laughed so hard in that scene. Melissa
Obviously, I like
McCarthy is meant
comedies.
for me and Mom.
But the one thing I would have added is the fact that I love old classics and old musicals, and I could never get you guys to watch them with me.
I've seen Singing in the Rain.
No, I've seen Singing in the Rain too.
All right.
That's good. That's old.
Is there
it's
another
a musical.
one?
There's
Yeah,
so
The King and
many.
I.
Wizard
Mom
of
made you guys
Oz?
watch
Ugh.
The King and I.
Oh, they're so wonderful. All those old classical.
Go back and rewatch that. It's cool.
No,
Way longer
it's
than you
just
remember,
creepy.
All
Like,
the
in
Gene
my mind, they
Kelly
get
and
there.
Fred Astaire movies. I
They
love
got all
those.
the
and-
flying monkeys and the witch and
Wizard of Oz is brilliant.
Dad,
no,
do we,
it's great.
since Mom
It's
has
just
her, is
creepy.
there anything we missed for you?
I think you might have missed an Australian comedy.
has
'cause
a
we have to
list.
have something from
Oh, we
Australia.
gotta have an
Oh,
Australian.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I had
think
Mad
you-
Max Fury Road
I
in there
think
to
you-
represent
I don't know whether
Australia.
the girls watched Rake.
yeah, I watched.
But that's
Rake.
a show, not a
Oh, it's
movie.
a show,
This is
not a
movies
movie.
We
that I
had
did.
to-
Australian movies.
We had to
BMX
focus on
Bandits.
movies. Oh, BMX Bandits.
Crocodile
That is
Dundee.
that's
Crocodile Dundee, the first one, was
That's right.
hysterical.
But BMX Bandits,
Bandits.
watching with Dad and have him translate all the Australian sayings to us. I mean, let's be clear. Dad's Australian movie thing does not begin
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
with being
Priscilla
trapped in
Queen of the
town.
Desert.
Desert,
Queen of the Desert.
Gallipoli,
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I used to love Mom and Dad.
Man from Snowy River was a movie.
Becky, the one.
Excuse me?
with the steps, new steps.
Strictly Ballroom.
Oh.
Strictly
Ooh,
Ballroom
Strictly
was a
Ballroom.
classic we
New
saw.
Steps.
New steps. That's a.
Right.
Oh, so many
Amazing.
good ones. There's so many good Australian movies.
Is that
It's by,
Baz Luhrmann,
Pasta
Becky, or
Lerman.
Baz Luhrmann, as you guys say?
Baz Luhrmann. Remember
that
we
it?
said
It's Strictly
Baz.
Ball-
Baz Luhrmann.
Baz Luhrmann.
My
Who
new-
calls him Baz Luhrmann?
Me.
I think it's Baz.
Baz. It's
Baz. It's got to be
Luhrmann.
Baz, right? I don't know. What do we know?
But maybe in Australia they say Baz.
Yeah,
Ba-
maybe.
Baz.
It
Yeah,
might
this
be.
is Baz Luhrmann.
Baz.
Baz
Okay.
Luhrmann.
Now,
Is he Jewish?
No, he's definitely not
Don't
Jewish.
think so.
it's not Boaz.
Hey, listen.
Okay,
We
so
don't
since we haven't really watched anything, much.
Well, we introduced Lily to the Babysitter movies.
We
which
watched
is
the
very
Babysitter
Those are
exciting.
awesome horror comedies on Netflix. Found Money, guys. You got sitting on Netflix 2 great back-to-back horror comedies to watch.
I saw with
Mommy
you
saw
two
those
halves.
second. You saw the
The
second.
first one I fell asleep in the second half, and the second one I fell asleep in the first half. What?
But what did you think of what you saw of the movie?
It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. I don't know what you guys love about it.
All right, Dad. Anything you're watching you recommend?
I recommend Informer. It's on Prime.
I haven't seen it.
With Patty Considine. It's a great one-season show that I regret why they haven't done a second one, but it's a great whodunit thriller. And we recommend, both Mom and I recommend Criminals.
No,
Outlaws.
Outlaws.
The
Criminals.
one with
Outlaws.
Christopher Walken.
The one with-
criminals, outlaws.
Well,
It's also on Prime.
they're criminals. That's why they're outlaws.
The fact that she got it right and you got it wrong.
I pulled
It
a
is
mom. What you're
such
saying is
a
I pulled a fanny.
funny show. It's so
That's
wonderful
the
and
funny, yeah.
heartwarming. Not just funny, it's also heartwarming. And it has a lot of drama in it. Definitely worth watching. What's the name of the actor again?
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. At his best.
Okay.
Okay. I think we have
Okay.
to say
I think
goodbye.
we have
And
to
then
say
last but
goodbye.
not least, we watched Everything Everywhere
All
at
at
Oh, yeah. That
Yes.
was so cool.
All of us together.
That
Let's
was
just do a
so
quick
weird.
buy, rent, or meh, Becky.
No, I'm gonna buy
Bye.
it because I have to see it again
Bye,
because I
I
don't
watched it
understand.
again.
I did rewatch the
definitely-
second half, and it was like
Yeah,
It's
I
very
need to
cool.
rewatch
It's
it.
a
That's
beautiful
incredible.
movie.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rent it, but I'll watch the one you bought.
That's amazing.
Dad, what'd you think?
I thought it will be brilliant the second time I watch it.
It's
For
so
now,
tough.
it's somewhat incomprehensible.
Like a
but-
meh, like I don't know what it's about.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of.
All right, and Dad, where can people follow you?
On the corner of
No,
Broad
don't say
and
where you.
No, don't say where you
stop.
live.
You can't say where you live.
It's weird. You can't do that. Weird.
Clap. Thousands of people listen to this.
No.
They could come and find you.
No, you have to say Ricón de Pan or something like that, or
No,
Twitter.
don't say that either.
Or do it.
No one
There's
knows
a dozen,
what that is.
There's a dozen Ricon de Pans.
Do you know that? You know that one time?
Best. Okay.
One time I was trying to escape collection from a Canadian company that we just won't name, and
I sent you to Poland.
No,
That was
Dad sent them in my change of address to Corte Inglés in Barcelona.
Okay.
That's like Shice Columbia Records.
You can't follow me anyplace.
You could just bleep out him putting his street.
okay.
You
So-
could follow him to have a croissant and a coffee once a
Oh,
day.
okay.
Every
that's a
morning
good-
around 9 a.m.
Mom,
at
where
Ricardo Pan.
Mom, where can people follow you? Do you want people to follow you?
I mean, they can follow me. I don't know if they'll find me. At Inner Wonder on Twitter and Instagram, but I
don't
post
know.
once a year.
If you wear that pink and blue colorful beach cover-up muumuu thing, I found you in a very crowded, multiple crowds. You're very easy to find.
I know how to dress.
Yeah.
Becky, where can people follow you?
At Paper BK Princess on Twitter.
Lily.
GCHICHIK Gomez on Twitter.
And you can follow me at Pancake and the number 4 table on Twitter and Instagram. And all the Friday Night Movie shenanigans at Friday Night Movie on Twitter and Instagram. We want to thank the progenitors of the Friday Night Movie podcast and or at least of the hosts of the Friday Night Movie podcast. Our inspiration, our parents, Roger and Fanny, for being here live in person. And,
Live in person.
and
Is there an option?
See you next year.
You know, I was going to say you could find me watching Cheaper by the Dozen with my daughters.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Who farted?
It was not me.